Let's turn that up a little bit more. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Right now, let's see. I see what's wrong here. 1 second. There we go. That should be a little bit better. Good. Okay, cool. You guys should be able to hear me quite a lot better right now. And welcome, by the way, Genes of Terror. Anybody else who happens to stop in or is happened to be in. This stream was born of something from yesterday, I guess, that apparently a lot of people thought that it might be a good idea to, or thought that it might be useful to see the setup again and such. But also, I kind of wanted to go through not only what I'm doing or how I'm using things, but also other tips and tricks and such for some of the people that I've been speaking with for a while and seeing kind of what they're doing. Right now, my microphone probably sounds a little wonky, and that's because I'm using a different microphone than I normally do, and it's not all EQ'd and everything, but hopefully it sounds okay for the purposes of this video. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to give it a listen, so 1 second. See if I can't hear it really quickly and see what it sounds like. Okay, sounds good. Sounds a little bit like it's picking up air puffs and such. So I'm going to try and talk with it off axis as best as I can. I'll put a little puff guard on it. I think I have one here. Just 1 sec. Boop-a-doop. And we'll get things moved over, and you guys can kind of see what's going to go on and what I'm doing and what I use, and ask questions. So let me put a little windscreen on this real quick. It's not going to help a ton, but it'll help a little. There we go, just a little bit. Retro Gaming Star 25 says, "Hey there, have you been? Long time no see." Oh, I've been doing pretty well actually. Just got over being sick, and I feel a lot better, and things are going to be better, I think, going forward. So, all right. So I'm going to show what my stream setup looks like again. I did a quick version of this via phone, and so this is going to be a little bit more in depth because I had people yesterday who were talking about the microphones and what sounded good and what they wanted to do or what they were looking to do with it with their setups. So that's the idea. Turn my microphone up to Unity so I'm a little bit louder. There we go. And you guys are going to get to see, you won't see me, but you'll see, you won't see much of me if you do, but you'll see some of my setups. So let me move things over so you can see with the camera. And please forgive, I'm not doing any sort of color correcting or light correction to this. This isn't a post. This is a kind of a live, more guerrilla style. And so we'll just do that. I should give a camera. There we go. There's a camera. You can see kind of things are bright, a little overexposed. But you're going to be able to see the retro room. The actual room. So this is I'm in front of the light here. This is what the retro room looks like for anybody who was curious. I'll just lower this down a little bit. And that way you guys can see just kind of how I use my stuff. So this is just the corner of the retro room. This is kind of the, let me loosen this real quick so you can see. I can move things around. This is kind of, like I said, this is just kind of the retro room and what I use for people who are curious. And you'll see reflections and stuff. It's a little bit messy right now because I've been working on some projects that I have going on that are a little bit more complicated than they should be
more complicated than they should have been, rather. I'll go ahead and I'm going to move the tripod here just so you can kind of see a little bit better.
You're going to see
some of my mess, and that's okay too. Retro Gaming Star 25 says, I modified my Nintendo 3DS. Now I can play lots of games on it than never can before, my friend. Very nice. That's awesome. That's really cool, actually. I'm glad that you're able to do that. I love system modifications. I do. I like those. So this is just so you can see. You're going to hear the creaking of the camera. Up top is the rig that I use. I use a single rig to stream. I don't use any additional backup rigs. I should probably invest in one, but it's not worthwhile, at least at the moment. And it's not really ultra spec or anything. This is I'm using a 9590 octa-core AMD, which is a decent but somewhat old octa-core. I'm using a
I think that's got a
1060 in it.
Heaps of
Games says evening. Hey, Heaps, how you doing? I hope you're doing well.
Thank you very much for stopping by.
By the way, I'm showing off the. I say showing off. I mean this in a non-pretentious way. Bit of feedback. Can hear you twice. Oh.
You know what I bet that is?
Let me scoot this over. You know what I bet that is? I bet. You'll see my reflection there for a second.
I bet that's that. There we go. I bet you now that you can only hear me once. I appreciate the feedback. That is perfect. I would not have caught that. So thank you very much. I'm assuming that my capture source had an audio source as well. So there we go. That's a little bit better. Hopefully a little bit more tolerable. So up top there is the rig that I'm using. It's a simple rig. Like I said, it's an older rig. I've just been kind of modularly updating it. It is a... Yes, let's see. Yep, sorted now. Okay, perfect. I appreciate that. Yeah, so the rig is it's not super great. Like I said, it's a great. I like it. It works well, fine. But it's a AMD 9590 octa-core. It's Corsair liquid cooled. It's a 1060. It's the 6 gig version of that. So nothing terribly high spec or ridiculous on that. It's really just about having something that can run this. Most things are able to run on this just fine. I'd love to have a 3080 or 3090, but that's just not feasible right now, especially with the market as it is. So that one works pretty well. I've worked in the better, well, I guess the better, I don't now, but I guess the better part of the past 10, 15 years of my career, I've worked in IT, cybersecurity, and so on and so forth. So if I come across parts, I build. And if I don't, then I don't. And it's one of those things where it's like, I'm cutting out the middleman in a lot of those cases. But I also don't have the, I don't have the luxury budget, sadly. On this, I do use, this is going to be a little crickety, but I do use this is a CRT. This one is rebuild. I think I may have mentioned, it's a projector style CRT. I rebuilt this one in 2016, I believe. It was completely junk, and so I was able to get it rebuilt and fixed. It does really well at the retro style games. It has those imperfections that you'd expect from CRT. It's pretty nice. And then of course you probably noticed up top I have the there we are. You'll hear this creaking of the arm. It's very stiff. But you can hear or you can see the VHS player and all that for the extra hookup. CRT is nice. Thank you. Yeah, it was just going to get thrown out, and I said, well, I bet you I can fix it, and I was able to do that, so it was nice. Now, on my side of things, these are other things that I do. I do a lot of pawn shopping, and I've made this known several times to people. I am not loaded. I have to do with what I have, so I do buy a lot of things from pawn shops for really inexpensive and good prices. So up top over here is, you can see my monitor. That's just a Let's see. Man, you rebuild TVs. What else can you do? How's it going? It's going well. I appreciate that. I would say, and I mean this in the politest or the most polite way I could. I try to learn as much as I can. So when it comes to tech, building and modifying and soldering and all of these other odds and ends are things that I look at and I love to do, and 9 times out of 10 I'll be able to do something, whatever's needed to get that thing going again. I've been fortunate in that regard. Now I have had that 10 out of 10 time where I did something and I messed up and it was just awful. But I got lucky in a lot of these, so that I spent the time and paid the hours to try and make it as good as I could. Up top, those my monitor. That's just the chat monitor and such, so you guys can see actually what I'm seeing. I have an additional chat monitor over here that I'm able to keep an eye on if I for whatever reason can't see or read. So you can see my setup up the top. It's literally just Streamlabs. OBS does the exact same thing. I like Streamlabs a little bit better because of the way that it's laid out, and I do pay for some of the premium services that come with it for I think $19 a month or something. But that's what I use to read most of the chat. However, it is a little far from my eyes sometimes, so I do happen to have another couple of monitors just kind of littered throughout the room. I'm also a huge fan of Wii U, so you're seeing the Wii U stack you're seeing there, just Wii U games. There is the reason Snoopy's out. All very clean. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. The reason that the Wii U stack is out is I love the Wii U. I love to collect for the Wii U, and Snoopy specifically is out because I have 2 Snoopies for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why I have 2 Snoopies, but I have 2 Snoopies. So thank you. Yeah, I try to keep it. You'll see the dirty here in a minute. It's as clean as I could. I mean, I could wire manage it, but I haven't done it. But down below, yet again, I'll try to keep the creaky away. There we are. This is where things get a little bit messier. And I have some wires right now running. Part of that is because I have a light running right now. I have a microphone that's like I'm holding on to a handheld microphone to keep everything going. So there's some wires running that normally wouldn't be that messy running around like that, but there are. And that's where I kind of keep the retro stuff. Yet again, you can see in the middle there's the NES Advantage. That's where the NES goes, but I did do some pen replacements on those just recently, and I've run it through its paces, so it's in the living room right now. So that's why that one's not there. But you'll take a look. If you take a look at it, you'll see just retro consoles. Now, one thing that is very messy, I'm looking for a way to make it better, cleaner looking, is up in the top left-hand corner, kind of beside the Wii U, you can see little switches. Those little switches are AV switches, which all of those consoles connect to, and then those switches are daisy-chained, and they feed out to a master out. And then that master out goes into an HDMI upscaler, which retains the aspect ratio. It's just supposed to be a pixel shift, essentially. And so that way I can still capture all of the retro stuff on the original hardware in the Elgato without losing the retro charm. So that's how I've done it right now. It's daisy-chained, but the very unlucky, very unconventional shape of the switches make them very difficult to stack. They're very rounded on top, and it's a very uncomfortable thing. I'll find a way to mount those much more cleanly, but for now they're just kind of thrown up there haphazardly because I can reach all of the buttons, and they won't go anywhere. But this one is where I keep the GameCube. There's a Sega CD-X up there in the top right, the gold N64, the Atari Jaguar down there, which has Brutal Sports Football in it right now. Sega Saturn, of course, with the action replay, because the Sega Saturn has to have that in order to play some of these region-locked games, as well as some of the... I have a Castlevania Symphony of the Night, the Japanese copy. So we'll move over to one of the things I love to tinker with a little bit more. So if you take a look over there in the left-hand corner, and you see the kind of red and blue and gray, very patriotic-looking switch, that is the mixer that I use currently. That's an upgraded mixer right now, so that is the PV20, which is the one I like. And the reason I upgraded that one just recently because it had additional inputs. It's got 16 XLR inputs. which is just a very fancy way of saying I could hook up to 16 microphones in it and do whatever I wanted to do with that, and it would all sound really good and give me some control. When you heard music earlier, for example, one of those faders has that music on it. The microphone right now that I'm on, you can see the little slider for 4 is up. That's the microphone I'm using right now. So on and so forth. So, let's see. Lovely setup, mate. I've got to sleep though late here. Good talking to you. Hey, it was good seeing you too, Heaps. I appreciate you for stopping by. I'll leave this video up because I'm going to go through some other stuff. So if you do have anything that you would like addressed or whatever, if you don't mind leaving it there, I'll get it addressed and you can watch it at your leisure if you want. I'm going to go over like little tips and tricks that I've done to get things to kind of like sound better and look better. Yours sounds and looks fantastic, so you don't necessarily need it. But if you happen to have questions and I can be a resource, then, you know, whatever I can do to help. Okay, so yeah, so I have that right there, and then of course I do have the arm. That microphone right there is that's my favorite microphone. That is a Neumann TLM 103. The Neumann TLM 103 is a very expensive microphone that I happened to get for a really cheap price. It's a $1,100 microphone that I was fortunate enough to get for $40. Heavywave says, do you play any instruments? Yes, I do. I play guitar. I have an electric guitar. I have 2 electric guitars, actually. I have a BC Rich TWO BTO Warlock as well as a Viper LTD, the ESP LTD Viper, which is nice, just a 6-string model. I play piano. I have a Yamaha digital keyboard for that, just nice little, you know. And then, of course, I play some of the like classic like band style instruments, which include but are not limited to trumpet, trombone, things like that. So let me zoom in really quickly on the microphone, and that way you can kind of see. So that's just the mixer right there. That's the one I use. The top up there is the microphone. That's yet again, that's the Neumann TLM 103. And then over here on the right is the Sennheiser HD. Those are the 6XX, which are a model of the drop.com model of the 660s, which are really good open back headphones. They sound really nice. Yeah, but anyway, I do play some instruments. So I don't have anything hooked up here. I have all of that stuff in the living room, but yes. And I do like PV. I have a PV Viper amp, which I really love. It's one of the self-contained single cab, but it's got it's really nice sounding. Nice. I'll have to ask you about your music taste offline. Oh, I mean, you're more than welcome to. I love all kinds of music. I am a big fan of metal. I love classical too, symphonic and such. So I know it's a little odd, but yeah, I'm a pretty big fan. Of all kinds of different music. Those are my favorites. So probably symphonic and metal, and of course they do make symphonic death metal, which is kind of nice, but it's real hit and miss for me. Over here you can see a little bit of my mess. There's a sweater over there, obviously, a book where I was writing notes down to try and see what all I could do that would be helpful, answer questions, etc. But this is a 4-person couch. It's just basically where I would sit. If someone else wants to come in, my wife would sit there, or whoever else is there, they'll sit next to me. And then over here you can kind of see where I have additional heads, microphones. You can see one of them's empty. I'll show you why a little bit later. And additional headsets and other microphones. And the microphone I'm using now, even, a little Samson CO2 microphone. So just all kinds of little microphones set up around the room or in places where I can easily get to them so that I can do large-scale episodes, which are really, really nice. I'll flip the camera around this way for now, and you guys will be able to see if I go all the way around here. This is my big monitor. This is what I play most of the games on, so you can see like there's the VR stuff. This is a 55 or so. I mean, it's just a standard monitor. Of course, you're seeing a big black line because the camera's rate of capture and the flicker rate of the monitor are different, so... and then down here, I'll try and point it down as best as I can. This is where the mess happens, and it's very dirty and dusty and all that kind of good stuff. But this is where the modern consoles will typically be, some of the statues from collector's editions. So we have things like the Wii U here with a terabyte hard drive. We've got switch dock, which the switch is not in currently. We have Xbox 360, original Xbox, PS3. That's the Xbox. Way down below at the bottom there is the Xbox One X, and then over here is the PS4 with the VR headset, and all that's mounted. The VR headset and everything's mounted behind. And then you can kind of see over here, you have wires running up to the camera, so I'll apologize for that. This guy here with the red lights is an HDMI switcher. It's an 8 in, 1 out, so that I don't have to switch. So 1 through 7 correspond to consoles that are down here, and then 8 actually corresponds to that switch over there that I was talking about with the HDMI, or the composite, the retro stuff. So that's all that I have to do there. And then just for the fun of it, we'll go ahead and flip it right back up, and we'll come right back around real quick. Just real quick. And we'll just kind of show the rest of the room really quickly. Closet over there. Of course, I have a light going right now. That light is for the sake of the camera, but let me flip it off. I'll move it. And you can kind of see over here where I have little collectibles, just odds and ends. SNES specifically being my favorite console. And let me flip this light off real quick. Let's see if it'll catch up. But little odds and ends, SNES stuff, basically stuff like that, a lot of that. And then, yet again, little odds and ends, decks of cards, books, the Wii U tablet, and some charging controllers and all that good stuff. And then that's just kind of the gear closet. Right now there's an air purifier in there to keep everything nice and clean and cool, because this room does get very hot very quick. So little odds and ends. Now, my understanding is that a lot of people wanted to know how to do more with their gear and their setups. And so I'm going to try as best as I can, now that people have seen it, I'm going to try as best as I can to demonstrate what can be done with the gears and the setups. I'm going to zoom in over here. What can be done with gears and setups, and I'm going to try and do things like making a cheaper microphone sound really good. Let me turn this light on again. We'll flip over here, and I'll show you some of the tips and tricks that I use in order to attain a decent sound. And I'll do some of this physical, and I'm going to do some of this not physical. So hopefully this is some kind of beneficial to someone. That's the idea. So you've kind of seen what my setup looks like. What I'd like to look at is showing you guys what exactly I use and why I use it and how I use it. And one of the big things I had yesterday was somebody saying, oh, I have to upgrade my setup. I need to buy new gear. I need to buy a StreamDeck. I need to buy a new microphone. What I'm trying to do with this stream is show you that that's not the case at all, and you don't need any of that. You can, and it's great, but you don't need any of that. So I'm going to try and keep my face off camera and just kind of keep all of the gear and stuff on, and that be the focus, hopefully. So I'm going to try and do that. The first thing I will say is, if you are using a StreamDeck, if you're worried about or wanting to buy a StreamDeck, let me move this. Okay. The best StreamDeck that I have found so far is free. Let's see if it'll focus. It may not focus. This is my cell phone right here. And this is the Star Wars one, so forgive my nerdiness. I'm a fan, but this is a Galaxy Note 10. It's available on all Galaxies. It's available on all on all Galaxies and on all iDevices. Is you can download it, and I have it down here bookmarked. I can click here, and you can see Streamlabs Deck, and I can actually click on that, And this is a StreamDeck. This is effectively a StreamDeck. It is modular. It can be reprogrammed. It can be moved around. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to hit the Be Right Back. You're going to see me hit it, and you're going to see it change. And now we're at the Be Right Back screen. And on my side, I can see the Be Right Back screen. I'm going to hit camera again so you can see it again. It's going to flip back. And now we see camera. So it actually switches. It doesn't matter where I am in the room. I could literally be in another room in the house. So long as I'm connected to the same Wi-Fi, you can use this. And I could end the stream up at the top. I could record. I can save a replay buffer if I want to, a 5-minute or 10-second or whatever. I can configure all of that. I can enter studio mode. All of the things you would normally do. So if I enter studio mode, for example, in this case, let me hit the button. I didn't hit it. Now I'm in studio mode, so you guys can see this. But if I tap the Be Right Back screen, right, it's not going to transfer over to the Be Right Back screen. You guys should still be seeing this right now until I tell it to go ahead and hit the transition button. So I can hit that transition button over here, and it'll do it. Let me go to intermission A real quick. And yet again, it's not doing anything. It's just going to wait for me to hit transition. If I go to offline, for example, same situation. So I'm going to go to my, just for the fun of it, I'm going to go to my starting soon screen. Let me go to my offline screen just because it's a static screen. And now I'm going to hit transition, and you guys are going to see the transition. And now I'm on offline. You guys will see me on the offline screen. If I go back to, yet again, camera, transition, and there you go. I'm back to my screen. Now I'm going to go ahead and get out of studio mode. But so you don't actually have to buy an expensive StreamDeck. You can actually use your phone. It works really well. And it does all of the things that you want. You can see all of this stuff that I have that I don't care about. I don't care. I can turn the camera off or on. I can change volumes if I really want to. If I have an audio source down here, you can see like the microphone here. I can tap on that, and I can actually use the slider bar to change right now the volume of my microphone from here. Even though the slider is over there on that mixer, I can actually change it right here through the virtual input as well. I'm not going to do that, but so this is really, really cool. If you are trying to get a StreamDeck and you're worried about spending the money, this right here, and it literally has, you can literally make this infinite nearly. I mean, it's got the chat feature here. It's got, like, I can tap the chat feature here, and I can go and log into my chat for whatever I'm using. I can go and manage all of this. It's really, really cool. So that's a big thing, in my opinion, that I think helps a lot. Is if you're looking to get a StreamDeck, StreamDecks are expensive, and you have to set them up. You have to have them hooked up to the computer. You have to be setting in front of your computer, and when you move, you need to be cognizant of that StreamDeck moving with you. And in this case, if you decide you want to do it, you lose the fact that it's not physical. It's not a physical button, but it is fully macroable, and you do get a digital series of buttons that work really, really well. I have had very little trouble at all with it. The most trouble I had was when I was starting out. So what I'm going to do now, really quickly, is I'm going to move into I'm going to move over here. I'm going to go sit down over here. I'm going to do it hopefully where you're not seeing my face and all that good stuff. I'm just going to kind of, like I said, the focus is the gear. I'm going to talk about what I do. I'm going to show what I do to do the microphones, and then I'm going to show you what you can do to make your microphone sound as good as or better than the expensive microphone and not have to buy any additional gear. So let me do that real quick. I'm going to kind of scoot over. Let's see if I can, let's see if this shot is too awful. Let's see. Is it too awful? If I sit down here, do you see everything? Do you see me? No, not really? Okay, cool. Let me move this microphone over here. Like that. And let me see. Let me do this really quickly. I'm going to turn that up so you can hear me on this mic. And okay. Cool. So you guys should be able to hear me decently well. And let me move this over here and try to scoot this over so you can hear me. I want you to be able to see the mic. So let me do this. And it's over here? Yeah, it's kind of there. Let me do this really quick. There'll be some handling noise here. There we go. You can't really see the mic very well though still. Let me change this a little so you can kind of see it, because it's going to be important in a minute. There we go. That's better. That's a lot better. Excuse me. So you can see right now. You can see the microphone. My microphone is and it should be the. This is the Neumann that I use. The Neumann TLM 102. 103. I'm sorry. What I wanted to do. One of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to show that you can make a microphone sound as good as this one, like 95, maybe even better % as good as this one does, without having to buy a ton of extra stuff. Let me get a sip of tea here. So in my case, what I'm using XLR. Anyone who's not familiar with the nomenclature, I'm going to keep it simple. XLR is it's just the connection here that you can see, this little 3-pronged hole here, and they use little cables that look like this. They use these little cables that look like this. The benefit of having cables that look like this is these cables are what we would call balanced, and so they help eliminate hiss and buzz and additional noise that you might end up with in a traditional setup. Right? So this one is a Mogami cable, and it uses Neutrik connectors. Those are fancy things that say this is a good cable and this is a good plug-in. You don't have to have this anymore though. A lot of people are using USB, and they're using the and I'm going to go ahead and pause my music real quick. You can't hear it, but anyway. You know what? I'm not going to pause my music. I think I'm going to play it quietly in the background for just now. About like that. That should be nice. That should keep it chill. Let's minimize it for now. Normally these were this is more expensive. It means you have to pay more money. The Barefoot Troll. I don't know if a congratulations or a whoopsie doodle is in order, but congratulations and whoopsie doodle. So these are the cables that traditionally you would want to use with a microphone. It's not absolutely necessary because they've started doing things like the Elgato Wave, but this does keep hiss out. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to show you. So this microphone right here is an expensive microphone. This one is $1,100. The next step down that I have right now is this microphone, which I really love the look of. This is my favorite. I'd say mid-range microphone. This is an AKG C214. I think microphones are pretty. This is one of those that I think is really pretty. This is about $350 to $400 per microphone. I have a couple of these. I like these a lot, actually. The next step down I actually have is a very common microphone, and it's the one I want to work with today, and it's this one. This is a blue Ember. It's a $100 microphone. It is an XLR microphone. It's not like the Blue Yeti. I'm going to try and make this one sound about as good as this one, or at least within a facsimile of a reasonable facsimile. And then the last one that you heard, I just dropped the microphone. Goodness. Oh well. Let me real quick. I'll pick it up. It's a good thing that this is the cheaper microphone, thank goodness. Okay, there we go. And then the one that I was using earlier for portability is this guy. This is the Samson CO2 microphone. It's a little pencil condenser microphone. It's intended to be there for, you know, if you're looking to use it for an instrument. I wish I could stay on longer. If you're still on after my appointment, I'll come back. Oh yeah, no worries. I appreciate you for being here. I really do. Thank you so much for just popping in. I hope everything goes well with the appointment too. This little guy is, like I said, this is a Samson CO2 pencil condenser mic, and I use this one just to, what I was doing earlier, just to carry it around like a little handheld mic. It's very tiny. These come in sets of 2. They're $100, so they're basically $50 a microphone. So I'm going to try and show how you can make a microphone sound pretty good. And show that, and try to see if I can make a cheap microphone sound pretty good. So really quickly, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put my phone up here because I'm going to move things over. We'll just scoot that over there. And I'm going to change this over to computer capture, and you guys are going to see my computer screen. Okay, so you can see this infinite loop of computer screen right now. And what I want to do, actually, you know, I need to prove something really quickly, so let me do this real quick. What I'm going to do really quickly so you can see it is I'm going to take this cable, this is input 4 over here, and I'm going to pop it into this blue microphone here, just like this, and we're gonna, nice click, it's in, okay? Make sure I'm getting signal. Yes, I'm getting signal. Okay. So now I have this microphone here, and it's ready to go. It's hot. This is like I said, this is a $100 microphone. Okay, so I'm going to show that. Okay, so let me switch over. The way that I'm doing this in terms of the microphone, right now you're hearing the TLM 103, is I'm going to use something free. So I'm going to go, you can do this, I've already done it, I'll show you where you find it. I'm going to log in here to the retro room. Okay. And then what I would normally do in this is I would search for Reaper plugins. Okay. And then what you would do is you'd go to Replugins, Reaper. Reaper, by the way, is a $60 one-time program. It's made by the people that made Winamp way back in the day, and it's a really, really awesome audio DAW, DAW, which stands for Digital Audio Workstation. So if you're looking to do anything with sound, having a DAW is very important. Reaper is one of the more professional and yet affordable ones. But you can absolutely choose to use a free one if you wanted to. You could absolutely just use an Audacity is a good one, and so on and so forth. We're not even going to use that. We're just going to use the streaming portion. So what you would do is once you got all of this, you would just download these plugins. They haven't updated in a long time, so it's the same set of plugins. If you've already got them, you've already got them. Minimize. And now what would happen is we go into our microphone and we check our level. That's the first thing. So here's my microphone level right here. I like mine at the kind of mid top of the yellow, maybe the bottom of the red. Okay. And then once I've done that, what I would do is I'll come in here, and you can see over here where I have filters. And I'm going to go to edit filters, and I'm going to let you see what my filters look like. And I only have 4 filters on the entire thing. Okay. So this is where I can help with that microphone sounding really good, right? The first one is an expander, and all that means we're going to use it like a noise gate, but it's not going to be a straight gate. And the reason we're not using it as a straight gate is a lot of times when you use an expander, this particular expander as a gate, it seems to be a little bit more forgiving and stops cutting off your words. So what I do is I go into expander. This one is not a plugin, it's just a part of it. This is in OBS and Streamlabs. So you're just going into your audio settings. Oops, let me X out real quick so you can see it. You're just going into the audio settings. You're going to click on the gear. You're going to go into filters, and you're going to go into edit filters. If you don't have any filters, you'll click on filters, and it'll bring you into the filters anyway. Okay. Now that you're on filters, you're going to go to the plus sign, and you're going to click to add, and you're going to add an expander. It's just going to give you a drop down like this. And then you're just going to choose which one. In this case, you're going to choose expander. Now, I've already chosen it, so I'm just going to show you my settings. Let me go back. And filters, edit filters. Okay. So in my case, I change it, and now I'm going to change this from, this will actually say, you can't see it. It says expander or gate. I want mine to be on gate. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, the menu just goes if it's on this monitor, so, but I know what it says. And then what I use is, the ratio is 4:1. You can, this is a fancy thing. You don't have to know the basic, the major concept. 4:1 is probably the best ratio, and if you don't like 4, I mean, it's the most natural sounding ratio. You can play around with it and see if your ear sees something, or hears something rather, that's different. But yeah, 4:1 is pretty well the rule of thumb. The next thing is the threshold, and all you're going to do on the threshold to make it sound good is take a look, and OBS has a little bit, the meter on it's a little bit more specific. All you're going to do is take a look. Right now, if I stop talking and I turn the music off, you notice it goes completely quiet. Most of the time, that's not going to be the case. There's going to be a little flicker. And especially if you have the classic OBS, you're going to see that flicker, and it's going to tell you exactly how loud that little flicker of sound is. So if you'll go on that little flicker and find the number that it kind of comes close to, and then you go into your expander again, you can actually choose how much of it cuts off. So in this case, it's 45.5. Mine was flickering somewhere around 40, and I gave it an extra 5.5 decibels. You don't have to do anything like that super fancy. The objective is just, you can bring it right up to that number or give it an extra decibel or two. You're just looking for where the bar flickers, and you're going to put that number plus 5 in. That's literally it. So if your number is 38, you're going to do 38 plus 5 decibels, and you're going to end up with your new number, right? And slide back and forth to find out where this goes. You can slide it, you can type it in manually. Okay. Your attack and release are naturally going to be 10 and 125, and they can stay there. That's pretty comfortable for most people. And your output right here is 0. This is just additional gain that you might want in case your microphone gets made too quiet. Okay. And you don't have to change this either. The next one, which is super important, is the EQ. This is where your actual Reaper thing will come in. So what you're going to do is, instead, you're going to hit plus. You're going to go to filter type, and you're going to scroll all the way down to where you see VST 2.x plugin. That's where those Reaper plugins that we downloaded that I just showed you, that's where those are going to end up. Okay? Once you click on that, let me X out, go back in. Once you click on that, it's going to give you this drop down. You're just going to drop it down. You're going to look for Re-EQ, right? Equalizer. Re just stands for Reaper. And you're going to hit Open Plugin Interface, and it's going to bring a little window down up here, and you're going to pull this up. This right here is the bread and butter of the voice. Now, microphones are going to sound different. Each microphone is going to have a different different frequency response. So the idea is looking at your room and seeing, you know, if your room is noisy, right? Like right now I've got fans going in my room, but they're not really noisy. They're a little hiss-wise, you know, they're a little frustrating there, but it's really low. And so what you can do is you can actually come in right here on these tabs, and I have 5, and you can play with this. So what I do on this is on number 1, which is this little bubble here, you can literally just type these numbers in. You're going to change this to high pass. You have all these options. It's usually going to be on high shelf or low shelf. Just change it to high pass. And these are the numbers that I'd put in. I'd put in 80, 120. What you're doing is what we call a bass roll-off. It's when you have rumble, if you have trucks that go outside, you have garbage trucks or truck rumble, traffic, you have those nasty just kind of sounds. It's going to get rid of those. Your ears don't really make, they perceive them, but they don't really make them, uber clear. It kind of muddies your overall sound. It gets mixed in with that. So anything below 80 hertz is a pretty standard roll-off, and a lot of your microphones, and I'll show this later, will have a bass roll-off switch that you can actually use to hardware do this. I like to do it in software because if I do it in software, it can usually be undone, whereas if it's done in hardware, the microphone just pick that audio up and you have a lot harder time doing it. Gain is just if you're adding additional noise to it. So gain always is just volume. Hey, I'm going to add extra volume to it. And then bandwidth is, of course, just how narrow the frequencies that you're adding to or taking away from are. 1.2 is pretty fair. So literally, if you want to copy this down, you are welcome to copy this down. I'm going to go through each of the tabs. I'm going to explain exactly why I do it this way, or why I've done it this way. But at the same time, you can play with it, and then if you don't like it, or if you think that this sounds good, all you have to do is just copy these exact numbers down. You can also, just so you know, you can drag these around if you want to, and just play with it, and it'll real-time change the way the microphone is sounding. Listen to the way my voice sounds. Now it sounds probably really, really awful and muddy, right? Now it sounds probably a little bit more brittle. So in this case, I'm going to go back to what I had it at, 80, 1.20, right? Did you hear how my voice, you probably heard how my voice was shifting and shaping. You can actually listen to it real time and see what sounds good to your ear. I will go ahead and say, don't go buy a super expensive set of headphones to do this, because most people aren't going to be using that. If you listen to it through your computer or your phone, whatever you watch YouTube or whatever you watch Twitch or whatever you're watching this on, use that speaker. Because if you use that speaker, that's most of the people that are watching your stuff, they're using a speaker very similar. They're using their cell phone speaker or their PC speaker. And they're not using these high definition headphones. You can, in my case, you can absolutely just drive yourself nuts trying to get the perfect sound on these audiophile like headphones, and nobody will appreciate the nuances because they're not using those. They're using regular AirPods or something like that at the very worst. Okay, so number 2 is this little dot up here. This is where you kind of have this is what we would consider a version of presence boost, a bass version of presence boost if you have a bassy voice. This is going to bring out some of that bass without making your voice sound what we would call muddy. And so this is somewhere around the 150 hertz frequency. It's boosted just a little bit, just about 1 extra decibel. And the bandwidth is pretty narrow. It's not even quite a full, it's not even quite the full octave. It's just a 0.9 of an octave, right? So this is the objective of this is if you have bass in your voice, this is going to boost the bass enough to make you feel like you're there, like you're present, without making you sound super muddy. Oops. I'm going to take just a quick break because I have a bee that flew in, and I'm going to have to take it out. 1 second. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Wanted to make sure I got that taken care of because I didn't want to get... I'm not scared of bees, but I don't like getting stung by them either. So, I've been stung by too many. So anyway, sorry about that. So now I was looking at the same situation. Quick break. So in this case, it's the same exact thing we were talking about. This is the boost the bass of your voice is going to get. And the objective is just to embellish the presence a little bit without overdoing it. And that's really all it is. So moving on to the third dot, this is where we would try, what we're going to try and do is what we would call, and this is a very, very light version of this, is called a mid scoop, or it's the part of the ear, the part of the voice that doesn't really have a lot of detail. Those are what we call your mids. And so in this case, same situation. Now remember, 2 and 3 we're using bands. First we used a high pass, but then we used bands. So 3 is actually around the 400 and between 480 and 500 hertz, and we're just taking that down about between 1 and 2 decibels, and that's just going to give you a little bit of clarity. This is kind of where radio voice came in, where you get that kind of like, you can get kind of that little boxy, like, okay, here we go, guys, that most people don't want in the, in a new microphone. So this right here is, you get, like I said, 485 is what I'm using, between 400 and 500. Take it down about 1.5 decibels, so just negative 1.5. And then the bandwidth, of course, on that 1.2 is what I used. You could use 1. Like I said, that's just how narrow this little spike is going to be. The smaller that number, the more narrow the spike, the wider this is. And I'll show you. Like if I widen this out, see how that curve is really wide? And then if I go back here, notice how it's just a little point. So the idea is to just kind of have it where it's pretty specific, but it's smooth. You can see it kind of, there we go, that kind of thing. 4 is this is another part of the presence boost, and this is the high part. This is where we're looking for clarity. So the high part of your voice, somewhere around 5,000 hertz or so, gets a little boost, just a little one, right? So about a decibel. And yet again, 1.5, 1.5 octave. It's just kind of covering the bases there. This is where we're going to get clarity. If you make it too big, though, you'll get nasally, nasty sounds, and it won't be really worth it. So anyways, just not to ramble, but this is where you're going to get your clarity. This is where this is where you're getting a little bit of extra clarity. So. Alright, so I'm trying to do something here, but I can't seem to get it to work. Let's see. Oh well. Okay, so yeah, this is the like I said, this is the clarity portion. This is where things are going to sound clear, and you're going to get extra added clarity and boosted into your voice. And then the last piece right here, and this is just up to you, is the low pass filter. This is, most of your microphones are going to go 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. This is just what I use to cut out any extra hiss and high. You can see there's not very much, but some hiss and some high will get kind of cut out here. So these frequencies that you're seeing here are kind of being cut out. And then this frequency will help get rid of any sort of like hisses or nasty little, you know, it's kind of sounds and so on and so forth. So anyway, yeah. So hopefully that's helpful. 18,000 here, 1.25 here. No real boost, just cutting this off. So now let me show you something. I want to see if you can see this. I'm going to go ahead and get out of this. I'm going to minimize it. Close the interface. Now we have that. We can also go to the compressor. Same situation, by the way. Compressor is the same thing. All we're doing here is we're taking a look at our levels, you know, changing our ratio back to that 4 to 1. Most of this is all going to be pretty good. So this compressor is just making sure that your highs, your loud sound even, and your low sounds sound even. Your low sounds are brought up to sound nice, and your high sounds are brought down to sound nice, so you're not clipping. And then the last one is your limiter, and your limiter is literally just trying to make sure you won't clip the mic at all. Like if you yell really loud, it's going to try and prevent you from clipping. It's going to try and duck. -1 is all you need to do in that. So compressor wise, all you're doing is when you put that compressor in, you're just going to put this is all going to be populated. You're just going to put that into 4 to 1. And then the limiter right here is going to go to -1. I think it's normally on 10. -1's what you want. So now if you take a look at this, here's where things are going to get tricky. Check this out. Ready? Let me see if I can do this. What the easiest way for me to do this is, rather. Let's just do it this way. All right, ready? I hope that you can hear me okay. And I hope everything sounds good. Please let me know if everything sounds good. I hope everything sounds wonderful, honestly. And nice and clean and nice and clear. And hopefully it doesn't sound too muddy. And maybe it does. Maybe that sounds a little different, but it doesn't sound too different, right? Everything sounds kind of different, but not too different. I mean, it's a little loud. I mean, it's like I'm moving around a little, right? I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna hear this real quick. I'm gonna listen to this really quickly in my earbuds. Just real quick. Let me go here. Okay, so I'm gonna give this a listen real quick. Ready? Here we go. Ready? Testing, 1, 2, 3. 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 Okay, so that's pretty close. Let's try it one more time with a little bit of extra boost here. So testing, 1, 2, 3. 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 And I'll explain what I'm doing here in a second. I'll explain what I'm doing here in just a second. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Now it's not perfect, but I'm going to switch over real quick so you can see me. Not bad. Okay. And so here's what I'm going to show you. Right now you can hear me. I'm on this microphone, this Neumann TLM. Here is the, let me move this here so you can see it. This is the $100 Blue Ember. And let me get rid of this real quick. It's off, yeah. Yeah. I'm going to pull the mount off real quick. Okay, so this is the Blue Ember. No shock mount on it. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. Okay, so we're just running the cable right into it. I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit because I feel like that this one's a little hotter. This Neumann. And listen to this. So I'm going to put the microphones just like this so you can see them. And I'm going to go... Actually, you know, let me do this. Let me see, does this work? Maybe this mount will work. My little makeshift mount here. Yeah, that'll work. Let's see. Let's scratch the grill there. There we go. It's a very makeshift mount here, so but it works. Hold on. Let me do this. You're gonna hear me scratch the grill there. Okay, there we go. Cool. And so now I have both microphones here. They're both hooked in. This is the $1,100. This is an $1,100 microphone. This is a $100 microphone. You ready? So right now you're hearing. I'm going to change this back to neutral. Okay, you're hearing the Neumann TLM 103. Okay, you're hearing that right now. You're hearing an $1,100 microphone right here. Okay, now I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to flip over to the $100 Blue Ember. Okay, what you're hearing right now is the $100 Blue Ember. I'm going to give this a listen. I want to hear it. I've got an earpiece in so I can hear the difference. But 1 second here. I mean, this sounds pretty good. This sounds pretty good. I can hear it's a little, just the tiniest bit thin. And I think I could fix that. Omega A says, "Hi guys." Hey Omega, how you doing, bud? I hope you're doing well. So what I just did, I'm going to recap. This is pretty big. I'm really actually pretty excited about this. But what you're hearing right now, I'm going to take my earpiece out. I'm showing this, what I'm doing here. I'm super excited about this. This is something I really like doing. I'm realizing, I'm nerding out here. Okay. So what I've done here is this microphone right here is the $1,100 Neumann TLM 103. It is my favorite microphone. You are not hearing that microphone right now. You are hearing this $100 microphone right here that I have. This is the Blue Ember. It is a $100 microphone that is marketed to streamers. Okay. So not saying you can't tell the difference. You can definitely, there's a difference. It's not a big difference, not a $1,000 difference between the two. But right now you're hearing me in this Blue Ember $100 mic. Now check this out. I'm going to switch over real quick. And now you're hearing me on the $1,100 microphone. You're now hearing me on the Neumann TLM 103. Honestly, I want to hear this one more time in my own ear, in my ears, right? Okay, so Neumann TLM 103, test 1, 2, 3. Blue Ember $100 microphone, test 1, 2, 3. Give me a second, please. Just give me 1 second so I can hear this, because I think they sound pretty good. That sounds good. To me, that sounds pretty darn good. So yeah, so I'm gonna switch back over. To my ears, there is a difference, but it's not a colossal difference. It's not a tremendous difference. You can, and yet again, you don't have to have a. They both sound great, honestly. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. So what I just spent time doing is this microphone right here. I just EQ'd the microphone so that this $100 microphone would sound more like this $1,100 microphone. This isn't what they sound like stock. This isn't what, if you pull one out of the box, this is not what they sound like. But the point that I was trying to get across in this was, hey, you don't need to buy a super expensive microphone. Like, this is a super expensive microphone. What a crappy mic that Neumann is. No, it ain't. It's a nice microphone. I have, for the fun of it, I don't know if I told you this, Aaron. I've got a U87 on the way. Supposedly, we'll see what happens. But I have a U87 on the way, and I'm kind of wanting to see what happens. I'll tell you the story later, though. It's definitely, there's a story behind it. It's not like a normal thing. Like, I certainly couldn't spend the $3,300 that a Neumann, that a U87 costs. But yeah, I should hypothetically have not a U87 AI coming in the next couple weeks, though. So we'll see what happens, though. Like I said, there's a story behind it. It's pretty fun. So yeah, what I was showing on this is, yet again, I'm not an audio engineer. Aaron, you are. But you can, if you're not listening, the big thing that I had, and it happened yesterday. You buy it from Kim Jong-un? No, I did not. There's a story. There is a. No, I didn't. But yeah, there's a story there for fun. But anyway, so point being, what my point was yesterday I had a bunch of people that had come in and were saying, hey, you got that were coming in and were saying, hey, you have I need super expensive gear, right? Viddy came in and he was talking about how he had to upgrade his he was talking about how he had to upgrade his setup. He was talking about he needed to get a new microphone and this and that and the other. And I'm not saying, like, there are definitely microphones that are lemons. Like, there are definitely microphones out there that I wouldn't spend the money on just because. But as far as I can tell, just with that little bit of work on the mic, we put an expander on it as a gate, rather. We did a little bit of EQ on very simple, just like incredibly basic, like 101 stuff. We have a limiter and we have a compressor, and it's very, very mild. As far as I can tell, these two right here, coming through your normal speakers, going through, an audiophile's headphones, yeah, they're going to sound really different. But going through the speakers of your phone, which most of us are using to watch these, and going through the speakers of your laptop, I don't know many people that would really cause a big fuss between these two. Like, I don't. Yet again, one more time, you're hearing me on the Neumann TLM. and you're hearing me on the blue Ember right now. And the difference in price between these two new is $1,000. Like, you really, I mean, I'm not saying that this isn't worth money. Like, this is a phenomenal thing, but like, if you're just doing it for streaming, you probably do not need to upgrade you probably don't need to trade out your mic. You probably just do little things like this, and you'll get, like I said, 85%, 90% of the sound you're looking for. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. So yeah, I showed how to do it. I'll bookmark it. Yeah, a lot of differences in the price point are most apparent in noise floor. Right, and that's kind of, I guess that's a good thing to mention too, is the noise floor between these two is still pretty night and day. I think the noise floor on this one is, I want to say -13. It may be -15, right? And then the noise floor on this one's -6, -5, something like that. But when you're doing a stream, for streamers, like when you're doing a stream out there, most of the time you're going to have your video game audio or music, right? Like right now I've got music playing on the bottom. So hypothetically, even if I didn't have a gate on here, and there was a little bit of hiss and a little bit of self noise, the music that I have playing, or the music that I have playing, or the video game that I would have playing, would cover that noise floor without issue. I mean, like there are some, like for these ones, like this is like I said, this is the Samson CO2 pencil condenser microphone. It's more for instruments than it is for voice, but you could absolutely use this for voice and it would work out fine. This one's got like a -22, -23 noise floor. So yeah, if you're not playing a game, this one can get a little hissy, and you might want to look at something that's better. But I mean, it's a $50 microphone also. But like for people that are streaming, like I said, we had people yesterday that were talking about, oh, I've got to get a new microphone. My microphone isn't great, or this isn't going to work out, or yeah, that's only really important if you're recording something like an audiobook. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're doing something like that, you probably are the microphone. You're probably not the one furnishing the microphone most of the time. You're probably going into a room where an engineer has set up the microphone, and you don't touch it. You read, and they're getting rid of any self noise. And you want something that's got, like, you're in a quiet room. So -5 is, -5, by the way, is way quiet. Like, there aren't very many microphones out there that do boast like a -5. Like the Rode NT1, or the NT1A, I think boasts like a -7. This one boasts that. Like, you're not going to find a lot of microphones that are boasting this noise floor anyway. Most of, like, as far as I can tell, most of the kind of average microphones, and that includes the U87 or U87AI, are boasting between like 10 and 15, 10 and 16 decibels, depending on the pattern. Like, I love this microphone right here, and this microphone is the AKG C214, and this one boasts, and I'm saying boast, it's not really fair to say, a -13 decibel noise floor, which when you compare it to the like -15 and the -5, like this is just like right in the middle. So this is also one of, in my opinion, this is also the prettiest. I like this look for the microphone. So yeah, if you decided to watch this stream, I'm going to try and chop it up and make it different. But yeah, like, make it more accessible to people that are looking for the specifics. But like, I'm not using anything except for the Reaper plugins. I'm using them as VST2 plugins with Streamlabs OBS. You can use them in OBS or Streamlabs, either one. It works the exact same way between the both of them. And I use the Little Reaper EQ module. I do own Waves C6 for Aaron. This is just for you, bud. I did buy Waves C6 when you recommended it, and I love it. But for whatever reason, the streaming software, OBS and such, can't handle the plugin that crashes them. So sadly, that's only any good if I'm doing it as a recording for after the fact versus live. I can't do it live because I don't know why, but it crashes Streamlabs. So Wave C6 is a really awesome EQ that's like $30. It's like $30 for that one. Yeah, REQ. Yep. So yeah, we use this. And I'm showing you the difference between a $100 mic and like I said, the microphone you probably have. You could do this with a Blue Yeti or a USB microphone just as well. Yeah, C6. Yeah, C6 is awesome. I really like it. That and Isotope. I have Isotope RX8 or something like that as well, which doesn't, like, you use those two in tandem and you don't have any there's no noise. It's literally the noise police. Like, you don't get any extra. There's nothing else that comes in that you don't want coming in. So, very, very nice. But yeah, so I have that. So basically the way I have it right now is that EQ is applied on both microphones, and it's the same EQ, and you can play around with it too. Like, if you're trying to emulate this one, the EQ, you wouldn't want to put flat EQ on it. The frequency response on this is different, so you would probably scoop a little bit more of the mids of this one. This one is a little clearer, and this is a little bit more, I mean, it's bright, but it's more neutral than this one, whereas this one's going to have a definite scoop in the mids, excuse me, a definite boost in the highs and lows for presence, and then you're going to have like a decent scoop. You know, there's a lot of technical stuff, but if you literally just use the little template that I used, very simple, yet again, very basic 101, just copy the numbers. Isotope, the audio sewer sweeper. Yes, it's amazing though. It's so cool. But yeah, if you just go back and copy the numbers that I used, you can play around with it. You can literally make your microphone, if you're using a Blue Yeti or even a USB microphone, you can literally make it sound about 80-85% as good as these microphones sound right now, just using little things like that. It's not going to be perfect. And if you go in and you're listening with a really just strict pair of headphones, you're probably going to hear differences, but I think that's honestly pretty darn close. Let me make sure that's off before I unplug this. So just for the fun of it, I'm using this little makeshift mount that I made, which turns out to be really, really good, by the way. I'm going to plug in another microphone, and same situation. I'm going to listen to these. I want to listen to these too. And like I said, I just did it with the biggest, like I said, the Blue Ember. This is $100. You could literally buy this at Best Buy, right? This you need to go to you have to go to an audio place, right? I'd love to hear the Slate ML on your voice. I'd actually love to hear that too. I really would love to I'd love to get the what is it? The S1 or whatever the big one is, the one that emulates the. I know the little one does too, but I'd love to do that, and I really want to see what the 414 sounds like on my voice as well. I really want a 414. I want a 414 XLS really bad. Like, I feel like that's the mic. Because of how much I love the C214, and I've heard the differences between the 414 and the 214, and they're still night and day. I actually really want an XLS, like, really bad, but they're still way out of my price range. Ironically, still cheaper than this microphone, and I can't find one to save my life. What I'm going to do really quickly, this one has less of a difference. It's already EQ'd, the EQ's to the mixer, so I'm going to try this really quickly. I'm going to hear this one, see if there's a big difference here. But I think what you're going to hear in this is that basically it doesn't matter what microphone I put in. It's just they're all going to sound pretty similar, and they're all going to sound completely usable, I think, too. So let me give it a shot here. So right now you're hearing me on the Neumann TLM 103, $1,100 mic. Okay, and now you're hearing me on the AKG C214. This is about a $400 mic. So let's see. I'm waiting for it to catch up with me. I want to hear what it sounds like. If it sounds good. It's nice and clear. Okay, so on this, so you can see, I mean, there's a little bit of a difference there. To me, the C214 is just a little bit brighter. I'd probably bring it down just a little bit. It's a little too bright. I think it makes me sound a little harsh, a little thin. But But same situation, like not a big deal. I could go back into the EQ and I could literally just slide some bars around to make this sound like this again. So same situation, like you can literally make, I mean, this still sounded great in my opinion. It was just a little thin for my ears, but yet again, like it's not bad. So you can literally, like I said, you can make a $400 microphone sound like a $1,000 microphone. You can make a $100 microphone sound like it. I really want to try it just for the fun of it. I just want to try this really quick. I'm going to try the $50 mic, the one that is not made for voice, the one that is made for instruments. So you're going to hear some handling noise. My apologies. There we are. Okay. This one's not going to work the same way, so I'm going to try as best as I can. $50, eh? Yeah. This little microphone. I want to see how ridiculous I can make the thing. Like I want to prove the point that any gear that you have is like you don't need to buy the expensive gear. I get lucky. I do a lot of pawn shopping. That's where my gear comes from. But like the biggest thing that I kept getting when I was talking with people and having conversations was, I've got to put this money in to get this, and I've got to get this, and I've got to get this. And I know some of the gear that some of the people have. I know some of the microphones, like I know some of the microphones that the streamers are using. I know Heaps uses the Elgato Wave 3, and I think Thumb uses a Samson G-Track Pro, and these are USB microphones. There's going to be some difference. There's probably going to be cable noise a little bit more so than there would be with an XLR, like a balanced cable. But my point is, you can literally get rid of 95% of the problem in free programs, and without making you sound awful, without making the mic sound awful. Rather, is what I'm trying to say. Your voice will naturally sound fine, I'm sure, but it's that little extra that you can do to make your microphone push it to the next level. So let me try this. This is a $50 microphone. I'm just going to pull this out for the little holder. There's no point. I made these. I love these. I made these little holders, and because a lot of my microphones have these little stems, these little XLR stems. Like my C214 does, and if you take a look here, the blue Ember does, and then if you take a look here, the Samson does. And this has actually been really, I mean, it's not a great reliable shock mount. I wouldn't use it for everything, but when it just comes testing, like you just cram that on there, and I can literally it's a clip. Like I can just clip this onto a pole, an arm, and it'll just stay there. Like oops, sorry, I bumped the mic. But like this is like, so yeah, really works. I made these. It took me like 10 minutes, and I love these. Pod mic versus SM7 is a great one. I really want to. So going into the dynamic spectrum of things, I really want to try the pod mic versus the SM7B or SM7 versus the MV7 because they came out with the MV7. Apparently, the MV7 is very similar to the SM7B in its sound. It's both USB and XLR capable, and apparently people are raving on it as well. But that pod mic, I have heard that pod mic so many different times, and it's just like, wow, that is so impressive. For anybody who's not curious, the Rode pod mic's about a $100 dynamic microphone, really kind of a broadcasty looking mic, versus the SM7 or SM7B. Sure, SM7B, it's about a $400, $500, between $400 and $500 depending, and that's the microphone you see 90% of your favorite streamers using for whatever reason. And they don't tell you, but you usually have to buy, depending on what your interface looks like, you usually have to buy a $100, $150 cloud lifter, which is a piece of equipment that goes in line to give you additional clean boost or gain. And so you end up spending $550 on a $400 microphone. LOL. Now I'm going to test a Children's Fisher Price microphone with this $5,000 microphone. Yeah, that would be cool if you could. If I could do that, if I could make it so you could spend 25 cents on a microphone and it sound 80% as good as what is a $5,000 microphone? Maybe the Neumann U67, I think. About that price, maybe between $5,000 and $6,000. Yeah, that would be awesome. Telefunken, or yeah, the Telefunken U67 or whatever. It's funny, I think the reason Shure did the MV7 is because of the success of the pod mic. Oh, it had to have been. But the pod mic is amazing. Like, Rode makes great microphones. I have nothing against Rode. I prefer, like, AKG is my favorite personally out of what I've heard so far. Except for the Neumann, which I actually really love the Neumann, but it's just not practical to buy. Like, if I find another one of these, I'll pick U47. There you go. Thank you. Yes. That's what I was thinking of. So, okay, let's try this. Let's try this $50 microphone. It's going to have, by the way, this microphone is really bad about plosives. It's LOL. If anyone can do it, it's you. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Actually, if anyone can do it, Aaron, like the guy that, like, I'm doing a lot of this because of things that he taught me. So, Aaron Prentice in the chat here. I've done it before. I've done it on other streams. Huge thank you to him, because if it weren't for him, I wouldn't know 90% of this stuff and have an ear for it. I still don't know half of what he knows. I don't even know 10% of what he knows. But I know a heck of a lot more than I would have known without him, like by a long shot. So a huge thank you, by the way, to you, Aaron. I've done this in other streams. I've thanked you for this. But still, same situation. Thank you, huge, just in the biggest possible way, because you've not only found... you helped me find something that I just enjoy doing too. Like, I'm noticing I love microphones, and like, so freaking just doing this is making me giddy. I don't know. Anyway, okay. Heavywaves back. Oh, hey, Heavywaves. All right, I gotta get back. Keep it fighting the good fight, and thanks for the love, man. Of course. Hey, you have a great day, and thanks for stopping in. I really appreciate it. All right, so welcome back, by the way, Heavywaves. I hope everything went well for you. I just did, I'm getting excited. I'm getting really excited. I love this. I just did the tests against, and I'll do them again if you want them, but I just did the tests against the $1,100 mic and the $400 mic. Like I said, by the way, I love this. I think this is a very pretty microphone. This is one of my favorite microphones. This is one of my favorite microphones it's $400, but yes. Did you test the toy mics yet, like Omega mentioned? Kind of. I haven't tested the cheapest one. I didn't test the Fisher-Price one for sure. I like the way microphones look. This is, in my opinion, I like the look. This one sounds the best in my opinion, but this one looks the best. I don't know, I like the look of this, like, flat. I don't know why. Anyway, point being, my personal pick. Okay, so we're gonna test it against this. What is the easiest? Let me do this this way. I'm gonna turn the diaphragm this way. So a little handling noise. And I'm gonna put my little clip on here, just like this, like that. Let's see if I can. Can I clip it? No, that's not gonna work. Okay, we'll just do it this way. It'll be fine. Okay, so the diaphragms are not in line. This is not an engineer's test, but we're gonna try it. So we are testing, in this case, I'm gonna try it as best as I can. I'm gonna be a little farther away than I want to be from the other microphone, so I'll compensate by giving it maybe another 2 decibels or 3 decibels of boost. We're going to test the $1,100 mic. Let me move it over here so you can see it still. We're going to test the $1,100 microphone against this guy. You can kind of barely see it. It's one of these. This is a $50 microphone. You can buy these. They come in a set usually of 2 for $100, but it's really $50 for one of these. These are made for instruments. They're a pencil condenser. They're not made to be very responsive to voices. Samson, by the way, make good microphones. It's just not an expensive microphone, okay? So here we go. We've done the EQ already. I'm going to put my earpiece in just so I can hear it. Hit play. Here we go. Okay. So, you are now hearing me. You are hearing me on the Neumann TLM 103. You are hearing me on the $1,100 microphone. You ready? Okay, you are now hearing me on the Samson CO2 $50 microphone. So I want to hear what the difference is. So it's taking me just a second to get caught up. 1 second. Okay, so I'm quiet. 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna give it a little bit of a boost. Okay, I'm gonna give it a little bit of a boost. I want to try and get it leveled out a little bit. I want the volumes to be comparable real quick. Significant difference this time. Yeah, I agree. Let me see if I can kind of even that out a little bit. All right, listen to that. Now, listen to that. Now, listen to this $50 microphone again. We're still on the $50 microphone. Okay, so $50 microphone. Now I'm going to move over to the TLM again. Okay, now I'm over on the $1,100 microphone. I'm on the TLM 103. What do you guys think? I mean, now that the volumes are a little bit more comparable, what do you think in terms of the difference? Okay, it's a little quiet. Give it a little bit of a boost. But yeah, so that's a big question there, though. What do you think? I mean, there was a significant difference in the volumes, but once I did the boost on it, it didn't sound bad. The $50 microphone still did not sound bad. Now, part of it is that the diaphragm is a hypercardioid, which means I have to be a little bit more direct. You can hear me a lot louder, sorry. I have to be speaking a little bit more directly into it, but can you do it one more time? Yeah, sure can. So right now you are hearing me on, I'll try and say one phrase, or I'll just do testing, I guess. So right now you're hearing me on the $1,100 microphone, the Neumann TLM 103. I'm going to say testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now you're hearing me on the Samson CO2 $50 microphone, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. By my ears, that sounds pretty decent. It's not perfect. It's not perfect for sure. But does it sound like the difference between these two is $1,050? Like, would you guess that the difference between these is $1,050? If I told you, pretty good, yeah. So let me switch back over to the Neumann. And now you can hear me back on the Neumann. I'm gonna switch back over. I want to hear it just in my ear real quick. Yeah. In my opinion, it sounds pretty good. So I guess the point that I'm trying to make on this that I wouldn't honestly. Good, yeah, that's what I was aiming for. The point that I guess I'm trying to make in this, let me go and turn this down so that it doesn't blow out when I unplug it, is that you don't need a super expensive microphone. I think we made this sound about 80% what this one sounded like, and the difference in price is $1,050. That's the difference in price. If you want to buy a set of these versus one of these, that's your difference. So yeah, I'm gonna cut this stream. I am gonna cut some of the stuff out. I want it just to be the meat and potatoes. I had to take some breaks and some other stuff to get some stuff fixed. But I think the big thing I want to do in this is I want to turn this into a video, and in my opinion, this is one of the biggest things, like, I'm super happy about, because we were able to make, look, yet again, the difference between these two microphones I think was the most astonishing, and the price difference is the smallest, right? This is $400, this is $11. These we almost got, I think we made these sound almost identical. Pretty darn close. This one right here, the difference between this one and this one is $1,000. The blue Ember you can buy at Best Buy or Walmart, or you can buy it literally places that you would buy gaming stuff. You have to go to an audio store to buy this microphone. You have to go through Neumann or through Guitar Center or someone that is exclusively going to get you a microphone. This is bought in the gamers section of Best Buy or Target, and we made it sound like a professional microphone. This actually sounded really, really good to my ears. And then we even made this $50 microphone. We made this little $50 rinky-dink microphone sound as good. So, as far as I am aware, most people are using the Blue Yeti, or they're using the Samson G-Track Pro, or they're using the Elgato Wave 3, and you can, I just showed all of the steps, you with very little toning can actually just get rid of all of that. I think the biggest issue that I hear in most microphones, and in mine as well, and this is I guess a part where I'll throw this in there for people who are just curious. By the way, I want to be very clear. I'm not an authority on this. Like, I'm excited to help people not have to spend money and still sound really good. That's my goal. I'm just trying to help people not spend money on things that they don't need, and sound good. And I honestly think that this is even more attainable than I had thought originally it would be. So I'm going to clip this in right here. I love these little CO2s though. These are really nice if you're just mic in a room, or if you're like as a shotgun kind of mic. That's not what they are. So I'm going to go ahead and handling noise again. There we go. Now we're facing a little bit. Some of the things that I do know that help as far as the microphones go for better sound, and this is any microphone, it doesn't have to be the ones that we've used here, is firstly is echo. Like, a lot of people are having echo problems. I recommend this. This is a Chaotica, so this is way too expensive. I don't recommend this specific. Well, I have here's one over here. Here's one. If you want to spend, in my opinion, if you want to spend money on something because your microphone is sounding off, most people I think do it because of echo. And the way that the only money that I would spend, I don't even think you have to spend money on echo, right? In my opinion, the big rules of thumb, and quite literally rules of thumb, are keeping the microphone's facing me right now, but let's say the microphone is not. Let's say the microphone is over here, facing this way. Is this little hang 10 sign is about how far away you want to be from your microphone. Right here. If you're going to get real quiet, the fist right here, like this, like that. That distance will help. And then if you really want to spend the money, this right here is, I think, $30. $30, I think. Yeah. And these will just help get rid of echo. But you can also get rid of echo by not having the microphone not facing a wall. And then you can tilt. All you do is you tilt the microphone like this, so that it's at an angle like that, and that gets rid of a lot of the echo and the plosives, because it's not just, the diaphragm's not just perpendicular to the sound wave coming off the wall. I want to make it get one of those broadcast headsets for his wrestling event. I want one of those. Oh yeah, that's I have one of those actually. It's right here. Victory Leo, how you doing, bud? Hope you're doing well. I'm having a blast. This is I do like this. This is a broadcast headset. It is not the nice, like, I really want one of the high Ace in space. This is the Sennheiser 28013s. These are the 300 ohm impedance, versions. But yeah, they have these are the broadcaster, and then they come with the, let me pull this over here. They have the XLR microphone and the 1/4 inch. Right here, this 1/4 inch. They sound pretty good. They're a little thin, but, and yet again, you can make anything sound like anything. But these are, I got this for free. The guy I bought a thing on Mercari, and the guy's like, I'll send you these too, just because I don't need them. And I was like, cool. So, the only way that we really use these are for when we have somebody here randomly, like when we have somebody here randomly that is doing an episode with us, we have it so he can wear this and we don't have to mic him up with we have, I think, 6 of these arms, but the biggest episodes we've had are 7 or 8 people, so 1 or 2 people will get a headset. Okay, so yeah, I think we did really good. I think we found out the microphone thing. I think we conclusively can say that the microphone thing is big. So recapping on what I've gone over so far to help save people money. Number 1 was you don't need a Stream Deck. Your cell phone can do this. And it can do it. It doesn't matter if it's OBS or if it's Streamlabs. Now, if it's Streamlabs, it's a little easier. OBS, I didn't show this, but OBS has this app right here you can download. It's on it's going to be hard to see. I'm going to scoot over there. Well, it'll be hard to see either way, so maybe it'll be easier if I just kind of hold it up here. But if you take a look, there's an app. It's called OBSSD. And you can literally connect this with your OBS. Let me hold it down here so it's not completely glared. And if you are not using that episode, you do podcast. Episode is what I called before I was doing the live streams, what I was calling my gameplay content as it came out. That's probably not a great word. My wife and I have a podcast that we are setting up to do more of, and I'm excited about that because she's hilarious and fun to talk to. But at the present moment, I am not currently doing podcasts. But I'd love to do podcasts. I have a podcast also coming up with another creator very soon. And that's going to be a lot of fun too. I don't want to spoil it, but it's coming up. I hope we may actually have some of it in the next few days. So that'll be really cool too. And it's going to be about gaming and movies and all that kind of good stuff. So, can it be downloaded on Android and iOS? Yes. So this one right here is the one that I use. It's called StreamLabs Deck. Okay. And so you go into, and by the way, I have the Star Wars phone. I love it. So, we go in here, we click, and right now you take a look at this. All of these right here, I know it's a little far away, but these are all buttons that can be programmed. This is a full Stream Deck that you can use, and I'll show you literally. I can go into. I'll just go into the starting soon screen. I'll push, but if I tap that button, we're back at my starting screen. If I tap, I'm going to go back to camera, tap the button again, and yet again, here we are, we're back on my camera. So you can literally download this for free, link it up, so long as your phone is on the same Wi-Fi as your computer, you don't need a Stream Deck. And the thing that I liked about this is I kind of showed it earlier, I don't have a desk. I'm not, like, this is a little table that I'm using right now, but my computer's not on this desk. My monitor is literally on the other side of the room. My monitor for reading some of the comments is up on that wall. This is for other things traditionally. So I have this wireless Stream Deck. I can change volumes, I can change scenes, I can add scenes, I can end the stream, I can start a new stream, I can record segments, I can capture pause buffer. All of those things can be done absolutely free. It links right up to Streamlabs if you're using it. No problem. So let me turn that down just a little bit so it's not in the red so much. But yeah, you don't have to, yet again, you don't have to spend $300 on, or $150 or $180 or whatever it is on the Stream Deck. if you're just trying to get the function of being able to transition scenes. Now, if you're doing it for some of the really complicated stuff where you're trying to, set up like a chain of things, that might be worth it for you. But for me, for most of my stuff, I'm just moving from one scene to another. And so when I'm moving from one scene to another, this does that just fine. Like, all I have to do is open it up and push the button, and it's done. It's taken care of. So we've taken care of the Stream Deck. You don't have to buy another one. You can if you want to. You don't have to. We've shown how you can do that for free. The next thing was the audio. Yet again, everything that I just did can be done with a USB microphone. You don't need this mixer. You don't need... Let me see if this... No, it's not getting hot. You don't need the mixer. You don't need this microphone. We were able to make a $100 microphone and a $50 microphone sound almost as good as an $1,100 microphone. And we did that using... we did that literally just using the software in Streamlabs. I'll go back to that really quickly just so you can see. We literally just went, you'll see this, into where our microphone was. We went into that. We went into our filters, edit, and we just added, let me maximize this. We just added these things. And I showed my numbers. If you want to use my numbers as a template, we showed all the numbers. Like, we showed what this all looks like. And I showed you where you get this for free. I showed you the website. You can just literally go download it for free. It'll interface, if you're just using old OBS, it'll work with old OBS the same exact way as it works with this one. And so there's the way we were making the microphone sound good. We'll close that. Close that. So I think we've covered all of that. Like, I literally think we've covered... technically, you can use your 10 keys as a Stream Deck. Yeah, that's a good point. If you're at a desk, yeah, no, that's a good point. You could absolutely do that. The only thing that I could say, the only way that I could see where that could be cumbersome is if you were playing PC games. But even still, you're exactly right. And a lot of people aren't. A lot of these people are that we're talking to are playing on consoles, right? So yeah, we've covered that you don't have to have a. We've covered that you don't have to really buy a microphone. We've covered that you don't really have to buy a Stream Deck. So those are pretty good. The next thing would be a capture card, which in truth, there aren't a great amount of ways around that. To be completely fair, there aren't a great amount of ways around that. You kind of have to have, you kind of have to have some form of a capture card, but there is a cheap way around that. I can show. Which I will show, in fact. I'll do that in just a second. Victor Leo says, I have a tech question. Just curious about, can I play my PSP 3000 model on a flat screen TV? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You should be able to do it. If I'm not mistaken, the PSPs had a 1/4 inch there was and I don't know if they have them, how easy they are to find. But it is a 1/4 inch to phono, which is red, white, yellow. And I believe you could take that and put that cable into your PSP and then put that into a... you could either put it into the TV, or if you didn't put it into the TV, you could put it, into an upscaler. And an upscaler is, by the way, you can buy an upscaler for about $7. And you could play it on a flat screen. So another quick thing. I will show this. This is another really quick thing. Let me grab it real quick. Now, of course, I'm not saying you can or can't, should or shouldn't, but obviously emulation is always a possibility. If you have the games and you have the consoles, but you don't have a way to capture it, emulation is always a way to do it. You can use it through a PC. You can do it through a Wii. I find a Wii is actually really good, a really good emulator because of the virtual console, so it's natively meant to do that. But if I switch over to this, I believe there was a dock. Oh, that's true. There was. You're right. Have you? But if you are looking for HD capture, you can also just buy one of these. And this is a knockoff... oh, shoot. What is it? Knockoff... Camlink. And these can be bought... I think this one was $15. And all it literally is it's a USB A type right here, and it's an HDMI right here. And all you do is you plug your HDMI cable for your console into the input, you plug this into your computer, and it will pick up as a separate source in Streamlabs, in OBS, no special software. And like I said, I think this cost me like maybe $15, $10-15. I'm not using it. I bought it because I wanted to see if it really worked. It does really work. I do happen to have Elgato capture cards, which are my preference just because I like them and I happen to have them, and that was just, luck. But you can literally buy this little thing right here. It captures in 1080p, 30 frames per second, and 720p, 60 frames per second. And it's like I said, so $15 for a capture card, and it works just fine. I haven't had any issue with it ever. So, like, you literally, I mean, I'm not saying go as cheap as you can possibly go, right? If you can invest in a good capture card, I would say go ahead and do that. But like, I don't want people. The big thing that I wanted this stream for is people that were, I've got to upgrade my setup because my setup sucks. And it's like, okay, your computer doesn't have to be super powerful. Your capture card doesn't have to be super powerful. Literally, this little thing will take care of 90% of what you're going to capture, including Xbox, by the way, Xbox and PS4. Like, this works just fine on those. You could hypothetically have, as long as you have a computer, a laptop, you could hypothetically get away with streaming for like $20. You could buy a whole stream setup from complete scratch for like $200, maybe if even. That's a $50 Blue Snowball microphone, a cheap, $100 laptop, this $15 thing here, and maybe a cheap throwaway cell phone that you're gonna use on Wi-Fi. So hypothetically, you could set up and it sound and look just like this. Like, I am using expensive gear, but I've just shown you don't have to do that, and you can still get like 85 to 90% of the fidelity. So at least I know to add to my list of stuff to get down the road. That way to put less strain on my necks looking down on my PSP. Sure. Another thing you can also do too, yet again, if you're wanting to play the PSP straight away, I get that. But RetroArch does have a pretty nice temporary fix. So if you already own the PSP and you own the thing and you want to use a PS4 controller, RetroArch or Arch has a really nice PSP interface /ROM series that seems to work pretty well. So yeah, so those are like, I think we've covered almost everything. One of the things Omega, you said, and I want to go ahead and I'll pull on it a little bit, was the camera thing. And so I don't know if I can be much help, but I think I might be able to be some help here. Let me move this over to my computer. Well, let's see. Well, we'll try and we'll see if I can do it from far away. We'll see if I can. I may use a. Let's try this. Let's see if I can do this. It may not work. We're gonna try it. Okay. For sure, my camera always looks like butts. No, that's not true. All right, I'm gonna try. Let me try something real quick here. See if you're gonna be. I'm gonna try and wear my headset. It's gonna sound a little thin because it's a dynamic headset, but we're gonna see if it works. Okay, hopefully you can hear me. It's going to sound a little different, but it's just so I can get up and move around and still do this. So let me listen real quick, see if it sounds good enough for you guys to understand what I'm saying. It should. We'll give it a second here. I'm a little quiet. Let's see here. I think it's a little too quiet. I'm going to try and give it a little extra boost here. Okay, one more time. I'm just doing some testing to see if this if I can make this microphone sound okay. Okay. Okay, there we go. So now I can. Now I think I sound okay and I can be heard okay, for the most part. All right, so we're gonna try, and we're gonna try and make it look as good as we possibly can. And I'm gonna show you what I'm using, but I'm also gonna show you what you can use instead. Are we good? Yeah, we're good. Okay. So. Let me move my monitor over here real quick so I can see. So, for me, what I'm using right now, this is this camera, and this is the Sony. Oops, I am too loud. I'm clipping. Let me fix that real quick. Okay, all right. There we go. That may be a little. It's still. Okay. Is that okay? Can that be? Is that? If that sound. Hopefully that sounds okay. Not too bad. If it does sound too bad, please let me know. So the camera that I'm using right now is the Sony A5100. I bought it yet again pawn shop. $80 I think. 100, maybe $100, 80 or $100, something like that. I am using the first thing that I've noticed that helps with any of them, and GoPro is the same way, is light. So I use these. Let's turn it off. This is a softbox light. There's a set of these, I think. Two of these. They're completely adjustable, but I think two of these are $80. However, what I've noticed is you can literally just use a lamp. You can use a lamp that has 100. You can go buy a pack of 100-watt light bulbs at Walmart for $8, and use a lamp, a little spindly lamp that you can literally also buy at Target or Walmart for $10. So $18 all in. And it's paused. I mean, it's not posture, but it's posable. These ones are cool though. These are nice. You turn them on, and this is cold light. That's cold light still. Warm light, right? And so what I've noticed is cold light. What you can do is you can go and get, like I said, light bulbs from Walmart. I have GVM lights 3 set, which are nice for lighting and GoPro. Oh yeah, absolutely. Hey Thumb, by the way, welcome. I did get to go in and show how to make a $50 and $100 microphone sound like an $1,100 microphone, and all that fun stuff. I had a blast doing that. I've done the showing how to bypass having a StreamDeck, or having a good StreamDeck that isn't going to take up any keys on your keyboard. So I think I've actually been decently helpful this time. I hope I have been, at least. So now I'm working on video, which I hope is okay. It didn't fall on deaf ears, Thumb. That was a while back, but on deaf ears. No, yeah. No, not on deaf ears at all. So what I've noticed though is you can literally go get a you can literally go get a pack of 100-watt light bulbs around 5,600 lumens, I think, right? Is going to be the cold. When you look on the box, it's going to say, okay, 3,200 lumens or 5,600. 5,600 lumens is going to be cold light. So 100 watts cold light. You can buy a pack of 4 for like $8, and then literally a lamp. But anyway, even just a little desk lamp, like a little cheap. My Family Dollar sells little cheap desk lamps for $7, and one or two of those. So you're spending like $20, $25. But anyway, the cold helps do that. My lights look exactly like those retro room, but yeah, you can be creative and find cheaper, more compact methods. Yeah, absolutely. Well, hi, Thumb. Welcome, by the way. So anyway, point being, this is what I'm using, but literally anything that achieves just bright, cold light. So I'll turn it away now so you're not looking straight at that light. All right. The way that I've learned helps is if you have, it could be wrong, right? You may disagree. But if you have cold light, like a cold light that's harsh right on your face, and then you have a let me get a subject for focus here. Let's get a subject for focus here. Let's not let it be me, because I don't want to sully the camera. Okay, so it's a Baby Yoda. So we have the light, the cold light, as straight on him as I can get it. And then to add depth of field, traditionally, what I've noticed you can do is, because this looks washed out, right? Is he's setting there like to add definition to it, but if we bring him forward, let's see if I can do that. Let's see if I can. Let's see if that'll do what I'm wanting it to do. And you have one second. I got to do a one other thing. You're gonna see a blur for a second here, because I'm gonna tighten this. And yet again, I'm not an expert, like perfect here. No. But the idea, let me close that aperture down a little bit so I can sharpen the image. Let's see. I have ring light, which ended up using as a lamp in the living room. Pretty bright, not harsh on the yeah. Nice setup with the Saturn. Yeah, I enjoy the Sega Saturn. But so ideally, the idea behind it is to get. I'm trying to see if I can achieve this kind of bokeh here, and it doesn't require. It's not the camera. It's just the way that the lighting is done. That the camera is doing this lighting. But so the idea behind, at least from what I can see, is the more exposed that your subject is with the cold lighting. I'll bring it really close. Like we're getting where it's pulling the color off, but if you can pull this, let's take this warm light out real quick just for the fun of it. And then let's see if I can clear it. The way that I have noticed will add detail to it is if you have you want all of your lights out, your main light is coming over here to create this kind of hair light, and then the way that I've seen it in the back is that in the very back you have a in the very back you can see it's kind of not the best, but you can see that there are little lights in the back that draw that kind of like a bokeh, and that's what I'm trying to see if I can get. Let me try and see if I can. I'm just messing with lighting. I don't want to mess with anything fancy. I just want to mess with what any camera would have settings wise in terms of that, because I believe a GoPro will have all of this as well. So I'm just trying to see if I can achieve exactly what I'm trying to, and then I can move those settings. But I want to put that on so it's correct. But I mean, yeah, if you take a look, honestly, in my opinion, the image is still pretty clear. It's just the dynamacy of it. So and in this case, like I said, I'm just using this little. And yet again, I mean, you're going to be using a camera. You're going to be using a camera that's far better than mine. But all I'm doing is draping this light so that it kind of falls down on him, and that creates this nice little hair light. And then in order to create a better contrast, what I would probably do is have try and create this shallow depth of field. Now, the other thing that I could do, that you can do, which is handy, and I'll show this off as well. I'm going to walk over here real quick. I love this little Grogu though. Alright, I'm going to sit behind him. Is if I come over here, one of the things you can do is you can, to help, so this is already, in my opinion, this is already a decently clear image. It's not perfect, I can see that, but it's decently clear. The frame rate looks good. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I did not mean for that to happen. The GoPro is a bit of a pain with lighting. A more dedicated indoor camera like a Sony would be better, but maybe I can do a GoPro lighting one of those days to help, as ways to help others. Yeah, and well, the other thing about it is with GoPro 2, yet again, I could be, there's old school 3-point lighting. Right, the objective, what I'm trying to see if I can do is minimize the amount of gear put into it. I should definitely reach out to you because this is my territory with the puppet. Nice. But so literally like just a soft light, and then what I would probably do in this is use a LUT. And so let's see if I can do that. If I go into, let me, this would be where the LUTs are, but you go into a, let's see, you can go into a like a custom LUT to give the appearance of depth as well. I like the idea of this back here. I think this adds, but it's not. I mean, it's sharp. I like a shallow depth of field. But if I go into my computer capture here, you can see that I can go into, when I'm in the camera piece, let me go into my, on the left side there's a small light that can reduce the shadow. Oh yeah. I'm trying to see if I can put a LUT on there to help those accentuate, so that I can put kind of have a more like a. Let me see if I can do this really quick. I'll show you what I'm saying. So if I go back into this. And I'll just make a little mini version here. Now, ideally what will happen is, but there's probably tons of post-editing or computer stuff you can do to help. I have a lot, like if you're looking to, I'm just trying to see if I can find the stream shortcut to make an image look decent and kind of universal. I like DaVinci Resolve is my favorite when it comes to like actual post-correcting. But this is, so what I was looking for in this case is you can use a LUT by going into your filters. And so you can go into edit filters here, and now if we go into the edit filter, you can see my camera. I can go, actually I'm going to move it off screen so my menu comes up. But there is an option, oh there it is, to hit the plus sign here, and now you can go into apply LUT. You can color key it if you want, but apply LUT is the quick, easy way. And so then you do this, and once you go into the apply LUT, now you have a path. I have a folder of LUTs already here that you can download for free, by the way. This is all helpful things. It's going to end up cropping the whole segment to use its reference. Oh, I hope it's some kind of help. Camera is not my expertise. Microphones, I know a little bit about, but like I'm just hoping this is some kind of help. I'm not going to use this, but I'll come into the browse here, and you can't see it, but over here are this is where my streaming thumbnails and all that kind of good stuff comes in. There's your little logo from my Ninja Gaiden challenge there. But in this I have mine under, I'm an organization kind of guy, but it's under LUTs. And you can see all of these LUTs right here, and you can literally, we can just pick one. We'll pick Moreno. This is kind of a gradient. And when we hit open, see how you can now see that the colors are popping. The blue on my shirt is much more vivid. And you can see that, you know, he's a little bit more faded. Maybe I don't like that one. Maybe I want this one right here, which is a little, well, that's even more faded, like this one. This one kind of gives this nice grainy kind of, and so I could use these LUTs. I can use, and you can download them. You can create your own if you want, but you can download these LUTs, which give these nice kind of pops. These different, like this is kind of almost a sepia. So, and like you can see all of these different, and you get your look. Well, the thing is, the LUT changes all of the balance, and so now I have this at a value of 1. I can back it off a little bit so that the colors are still vibrant but not awful. Like that's no LUT whatsoever. And now we've got little Grogu here, and he's you know, he's very, like, everything's very vibrant and very picked up and very, and the motions look good. Like, the LUTs don't really take your computing power out of factor. So let's see, here's one that's, you know, black and white. So these little presets, I mean, these come with presets. These LUTs are different. These are custom LUTs from a different, but like, that's one of the big things is instead of having these, you can, instead of doing these, you can literally just have your custom, let's take that off. Move it over here so I can see the full menu. There we go. But that's one of the, I mean, like, that's one of the big things is just, in my opinion, is just finding a full LUT that you can play with, do it, you know, at its fullest, and then browse here, and then find one that you like and let that one pop. That's probably the best I can think of. Now, I mean, if you want to add like dynamism, like one of the things that I've done to add kind of a more dynamic feel, not in this case, but is have your camera, let me do this, have your camera, we'll just take this all out right now for now, but have your camera all, the other thing that I like, this is a personal preference, let me see if I can do it though, is I like to have this, let's see, maybe I couldn't see the chat, so let me see. On the left side, okay, but there's probably tons of, okay, I did read those, sorry. This is all helpful things, okay, I read that. Retro Movement, jack of all trades, I appreciate that. I try to know as much as I can about as much as I can, but the things that I don't know are always sneaking up on me. But so the other, I mean, like, the other thing about this is you have the little camera here, which I think looks okay. But if you, like, for me, I like this, like, like, I love the shallow depth of field look. So for me, one of the things that I would do, I'm going to move this, is I would try and do something where I have, let's do that, and I'm going to see if I can just achieve this with angles and lighting alone. It's probably not going to work, but we're going to try it. And honestly, if you want to master figuring the angles out, Anna, my wife, like, she is a beast when it comes to the cameras. I like to think I know the audio, but like when it comes to cameras, that's her. She knows it. That's her all the way. Okay, so let's see if I can do this. The way that I like, let's turn that down, to have things personally is, and I've made mention of it several times, and I'll move this so you can, so I can actually kind of achieve it. Is, let's put little Baby Yoda here. I know Baby Yoda's real name, but I don't know how many people have finished The Mandalorian, so I don't want to spoil anything. I know it's been out forever, but, like, still, you know. But I'm gonna have to dive into DaVinci. DaVinci's free. If you get a chance, it's free. It's definitely taxing to the system, but it's absolutely free, and I love it. It's really good. It's made by a company called Blackmagic, and they're awesome. But like you have, let's what I personally really like are these let me bring that down a little. But these like shallow depths of field like that. And it can be done. His name is Charger. No, it isn't. I love the troll though on it. So this is the kind of shot that I like and that I would do if I were doing face cam on mine, right? Is I'm on and yet again I'll put him over here a little bit more. But like I'm left third on the screen, and then if you look, there's this he's very defined. The lighting is obviously not, I mean, this is more artistic than it needs to be. But you can see that he looks pretty well defined. I'd probably, I mean, if he's a streamer, which is what we're trying to accomplish here, I think, then we probably want this to be as on him as we can make it. Like that, right? But so now we have all of the definition of Baby Yoda here, and then we have this really nice shallow depth of field, and there's nothing special about it. All I'm doing is playing with the position of the. Feels like forever since I've caught up with you, Retro Room and Omega, but glad to be here. I'm glad you're here too, Thumb. I really appreciate you for popping in and saying hi. It's always fun to get to talk with you guys. It really is. But yeah, so you have... So on this one, this is yet again, a LUT probably would make things look a little bit better. But you have this... no kidding, time flies, he means Baby Jar Jar. No. No. But so I have this, this is a video I'll be coming back to for future reference for sure. I hope so. I'm going to chop it up and make it more concise because I took a lot of breaks, and I feel like that I accomplished like 4 really huge things and took a lot of time. So, but so anyway, I feel like that you get the definition of Grogu, right? Oh shoot, I said his name. Okay, well, fair enough. I done messed up. I'm sorry. You get Baby Yoda's. I was trying so hard not to say it too. God dang it. Oh man. Okay, sorry. You get Baby Yoda. He's in the foreground, and then you have the shallow depth of field. And then what I find a lot of people like to do is they like to put like and I'll do it, just the cheap poor man's version kind of bit, but they will have the let's see if I can do it. But they'll have something that's RGB lit in the background. And that RGB, well, I can't, it doesn't reach. I know, I done messed it up. Dang it. I was trying really hard not to say it, but I completely failed. But so anyway, like that, and so as far as that goes, and yet again, could be wrong, may not look great, I'll go back into the main shot so you can see the full camera here. But you have a pretty nice, sharp image of Grogu. I'm going to say it because I already said it. Gosh dang it. You have a pretty good shot, and then you have this nice shallow depth of field behind him, and then the shallow depth of field, the best thing the popular thing, I'm not going to say best thing, but the popular thing is to put a cheap strand of RGB lights. Walmart sells them for, you can buy a 6-foot strand for $4.88. And so you end up with this nice high definition thing. Geez, I'm 3 minutes behind the stream. Oh, yeah, that's no worries. I understand. But so yeah, so we have that, and so yet again, we could go back and we could go into same situation. We could just play around. Now that we have the established image,
we could come back into our camera here, and we could go back into our filters, and we could go back into our LUTs and see if we had one that we like. We could go plus, and yet again, just go back to, we could chroma key it if we really wanted to, right? And, okay, well, why, I said chroma key, that's not what I meant. Not chroma key, color key is what I meant. That's okay, though. We could color key it if we really wanted to. And, okay, we could, we could play around with whatever we wanted to as far as that goes. Honestly, I would probably, yet again, I'd just use a LUT. Free LUT right there. And then we go back into our colors. And there we get a nice, so you just pick what you like, the kind of look and aesthetic that you're going for. And bleed that down. I think that one looks okay. I like the really vibrant ones. That is not a vibrant one. That one's a little cold for my... Where's that one that was really just amazingly vibrant? Something kind of like this. I kind of like this a lot. So, and then I'll probably knock this down to 0.5, about half of it. Not what I meant to do. Like that. And so, like, now I get this nice kind of sharp and polished look, and I get the... So that's literally what I would do. All I'm doing with this is experimenting. All I did with this, is put the position of the camera, the position of the light, and the position of the subject. And then applying a LUT. That's all I've done with this. So I had a GoPro. I used to have a GoPro 5 that I always use. As a matter of fact, you guys probably saw it in the Mechanos Cards trailer. Like 90% of that was shot on GoPro, and I did it in black and white, but like it's the same. It's like I got artsy with it, and I know I'm not great when it comes to the artsy thing, but like there's the like you just doing this, and then now we have Baby Yoda up at the front, and he's got kind of a neat filter. He looks nice in high definition. Everything behind him looks nice and kind of faded, low definition. Like I said, I could spend $5 and put back here. I could put little RGB lights that would make him look, that would make him pop a little bit more. Or I could go buy a red light bulb and put a lamp back there. And I do know that the trick is having the camera close. Right now the camera is only about maybe 18 to 24 inches from Baby Yoda's face. So I know that that's part of the trick. I know the next part of the trick is having a ton of cold light, which yet again, 5600 lumen 100-watt bulbs, 2 of those or a pack of 2 of those for $6. Put into your lamp, and then a LUT, and the LUT you can get LUTs for free. So I'd say done on that, and then I would move to camera. Honestly, I think he looks. I don't think he looks bad. So, that's so many adjustments. Holy cow! I hope I can translate most of this to OBS plus Streamlabs. I'm supposed to buy eggs. I'm gonna have to get going, but I'm glad. Like I said, I'm gonna try to edit it, put everything in the description, keep everything concise, and make it easy. I hope it's some kind of help. I do. But it was good to see you. It was really. I appreciate you for stopping by, Omega. I really do, and I hope this is some sort of help. So yeah, I honestly think that our image right here is pretty good, and it's a full moving image. It's not just a still that we played with and painted. Let me switch over. It's not just a still image. There we go. It's not just a still image that we painted, that we're painting the light on. It's a full-on dynamic. You can move. He'll stay in focus, and don't be an egghead. That's excellent. Vincent Price. But you get... Let me turn that down a little. But you get the... Like, Grogu, in this case, he's fully... You can move. He's not going to go out of focus unless he moves about 8 inches back. He's not going to go out of focus. He's going to sound okay.
So I think that pun on getting ads. Oh no worries. But yeah, so honestly I think I've been able to. So I'm gonna go ahead and I guess pose it to the floor, because I think I've pretty well covered everything that I was trying to cover. Number one was, let me get again, I'm a little loud. Number one was getting the, are we just super loud? What's going on here? Okay, number one was the trying to get the microphones to sound good. I was able to successfully, I showed off what my setup looks like, what my room looks like. I was able to show that you can make a $50 pencil condenser microphone sound about 80% as good as an $1,100 professional voiceover cardioid condenser microphone. I showed how to do that. I was able to show some of the gear tips and tricks that you can use to bypass having to make expensive purchases like a capture card, and also a StreamDeck, how you can get a StreamDeck that works as well as a normal StreamDeck would. I was able to show how some of the camera and lighting tricks for cheap could help improve the image of a shot. I feel like that some of the stuff I did pretty well, and some of the stuff I may not have done perfectly, but I feel pretty good about what's been done. What I would like to do, however, is open up to the floor. Is there anything, are there any questions, anything that I am missing, or that you might have tech-wise that would be beneficial to know or to ask that I could cover real quick? Because if there is, I want to make sure that I address that really quickly, and can get that to sound and look good, and in whatever way is necessary. So oof. Yeah, we have covered a ton. We've covered a ton of stuff today. Ton of stuff. I'm not unhappy about it at all. In fact, I'm quite happy about it. But we have covered a lot of stuff in 3 hours-ish. I'm going to cut it down, like I said, to something that's less, that's a little bit more concise, and is going to cover more of the issues. But I am curious. I want to know like I said, what is it out there that I may not have covered, or maybe I covered and you're looking for a kind of just Cliff Notes version. What is it that you may want me to go over that would be of some help? Hey, looking back at the feed too, I think that Baby Yoda does look pretty solid. That's a pretty nice. That's actually a really pretty shot, honestly. And I'm there we go. I was gonna say I'm not even in 1080 yet. Yeah, there we go. I'm in 1080 now. Nice. Yeah, that's a pretty shot. That's actually a really pretty shot. Okay, if there is nothing else that I can help with, like I said, I think the big 5 things that we covered were very important, and I hope that they help. I hope that they help somebody. But I think I'm going to call it. I'm going to have to get going. Be well, Retro, and hope to catch up soon. Absolutely. I appreciate you for being here, Thumb. I am going to... Thanks for the awesome stream. Oh, I appreciate that. I hope it was some help. I was excited to do this, and it was fun. It was really fun to do. What I think I'm going to do on this stream is I'm going to leave it up as a resource at the moment. I'm going to be downloading it and working on it and editing it down to helpful moments. I'm going to make sure that in the description I have equipment that I used, as well as links to the stuff that I'm using to, like, for example, the blue Ember microphone if you do want to buy another one. You can use the steps with the microphone you currently have, and it will work just as well. But if you really are just like, look, I'm going to go and spend $100 on a microphone, that Blue Ember did sound really good, and it worked out just fine. So whatever works best for you. Otherwise, I think I am going to go ahead and wind it up. I think I'm going to call it, and I hope this was some help. And thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you to Thumb, Heavy Waves, Hapes, Omega, Victory, Leo. Who else? Who else was here? I think Barefoot Troll was here. I think, what was it? Terra. Oh, shoot. I can't think. I can't remember what it was. Genes of Terra, Gems of Terra, Genes of Terra, I think. Retro Gaming Star 25, who stopped by as well. And, of course, my buddy Aaron. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by and coming in. And hopefully this is, like I said, some help for anybody who's looking to improve the quality of their stream but not break the bank. I'm going to go ahead and hop off and get you guys some music going. And we'll see you guys the next stream.